All right. What's up, my free folk? Finally, a stress-free day. I didn't do much tweeting today. I kind of laid back because yet we have a non-farm down the road. I don't like to trade into that. And I know I've done this before. I've said, okay, I'm expecting a choppy market and I've missed these moves. But, there's always another trade around the corner. So we worry about that. All right, before we get started, do me a favor, subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like, and do me a favor, leave some comments, man. I'll even take the nasty shit. I love to hear that stuff. So have a look at what we're doing. Leave some comments. Check me out on Twitter. It's at trading_off. And if you hit me up on the tip button or my Patreon account or whatever other systems that have been set up for me to shake you guys down, I appreciate it because I could put it back into the channel. And now a couple of people are working with me and they want to do some marketing stuff and get some material out to you. And any help you do will help us go a long way, improve the quality of the channel. And all this is made possible by you. You don't make anything off of YouTube. Oh, look at that. People bother me. That's actually Psycho Broker, probably calling me to tell me how great a trader he is. So anyway, look, real quick. This is what I love right here. We're going to go quickly through this. Look at that hammer, and then boom, we broke that hammer. Huge. Okay, so look at this retrace. This is actually not set up, and we're going to look at a retrace twice. So basically, we are at the 50% retrace. That's a scary thing. It's a scary, scary thing. So, like if I'm trading a stock and I see a move like that, I usually wait for that retrace to get back in. So we could turn around, and the momentum, it's fading back. I'd rather see this bad boy turn. It's probably going to take another week or two to really turn. But we could pull back and retest that bottom. It'll be more evident if we look at the daily. And that's why, this guy texts me. He's like, boom. All day. That's all I hear when stocks move. It's, you can't get emotional like that. Because then you fall apart when it goes the other way. So we're right up at the moving average right now, and that's close to the 50% mark. So, we could tag this and then start trading down. This is a nice momentum move. This could trade up and come down, and if it makes a lower high and then goes up, then that's a trend reversal. That's a good indication of a trend reversal. I would like to have seen a little more of a bar, but this was a little more of a rounding out. This is a very aggressive move down. From the highs. Actually, this doesn't even look like it's lined up correctly. Yeah, it's lined up correctly. Get over there. There you go. Yeah, we're looking good. So this is a it was an aggressive move down. So it takes a lot to turn this bad boy. If it wasn't this aggressive with this kind of energy, it probably would have been a V bottom. But this was so aggressive that, like I said, it's like turning a speeding car. If the car's going slow, you can cut the wheel, turn it. But if the car's going fast, you can't cut that wheel because you just spin out of control. So that's how you got to look at it. That sort of momentum is what did it to it. Do it to it. So, and a natural retracement, 50% is most common. And your probabilities of continuing to go up start diminishing at 50%. But 61% is, not unheard of. That's actually a nice natural retrace. But we look at 50% because this is the middle where the bears and the bulls are both at equal footing. Now we're going to figure out who wins, right? So if we could stop pushing up, the bears don't want to take the heat. And if they could push this up to the 76%, then they squeeze the bears out. They squeeze the shorts out, and this baby will start moving to new highs. So this is where the fight begins. I actually had some directionals on long-term that I just took off. I'm not going to hold out for the difference over here. It's good enough for me. I made some good money because I got involved down here. And what do I want to risk more? I've made plenty, so I back off. I don't need the home runs, man. Sometimes they fall into my lap, but I don't need them. And it's consistency that's made me a wealthy man. But that's 61%, so that 45.90 is a pretty good target because we also have the 20-day kind of crossing right there. But we're going to hit resistance on these trend lines over here. they're minor resistance because they're counter trend lines, but they're minor resistance. We'll probably hit a little resistance on that. And if you look at the 10-year, that baby's just holding tight, man. We'll take that. We'll take that. Looks like a double top, so it might start trending down a little bit. Watch, if it starts trending down, you're going to start getting some Fed lip. Yeah, they'll start giving you some lip to keep that interest rate up. But if it trends down a little bit, they're going to raise. They're going to raise a quarter. We're not looking for a half. And the Ukraine, the only people worried about an imminent invasion is this geriatric bozo Biden. France is not that worried. Germany's not that worried. England's not that worried. They just said, hey, you do it, then we're putting sanctions. And we're not going to war with these people. We're not putting military in the Ukraine. If they invade Ukraine, Ukraine's going to have to fight this out. All of NATO is going to be on the border of Ukraine because those are the NATO countries. We don't have any business in Ukraine. We would like them not to mess with Ukraine. We want that buffer between all of our NATO allies in Europe and Russia, and Ukraine is that buffer. So, but Russia wants assurances that we're not going to go into Ukraine, that we're not going to bring them into NATO, because then NATO is right on his border, and he doesn't want that. So he wants Ukraine as the buffer. I mean, it's reasonable, but we're assholes. I mean, our leaders are assholes. And really, we were supposed to be out of NATO once Russia fell. We kind of supported NATO and were involved in it to combat the Cold War, combat Russia. But once Russia fell, then it was designed to protect Europe against Russia. It has nothing to do with us, so we need to stop minding our business. But anyway, I'm not too worried about it. There's going to be a lot of saber rattling, but I'm not too worried about the Ukraine. What do you call China is still a big threat to make the Ukraine. So anywho, we're looking good, man. We're looking good. I like this. I want to see it continue. And let me just show you one more thing on the daily that I'm watching. And this is just the Ichimoto cloud. And this, look, that cloud is going to pose resistance. And yet, tomorrow we're going to come up here. If we consolidate, we don't move too aggressively, and we can get into this open, we can probably push ourselves up into here. But I think that we're going to probably tag that, which is around the 55%, come back down, retest a low. I don't think we're going to go this low. I think we'll probably come around the 360 or so. And then actually I'll talk about the target tomorrow, because it really should be the natural head and shoulder target, which, this piece was overdone. Actually, I think the head and shoulder target was like 363. So I bet we tag that 363 again. It makes a nice trend reversal pattern, and then maybe we could put another challenge onto the high for the year. Because look, the economy's good. Interest rates are low. They're not, you're not supposed to be at zero. Interest rates are low. The economy's good. The pandemic is waning. As a matter of fact, New York is starting to have an ease in the labor crunch that they were having. They're starting to get people walking through the door, looking for work, and that labor crunch is starting to ease. So that's a good indication that we're at the beginning of the end of this pandemic, probably roll into an endemic and get on with normal life. And now people are starting to get irritated with the Democrats and all their mandates, and people are recognizing that you vaccine, you protect yourself. It has nothing to do with the guy next to you. So, they could stop with this bullshit. So anyway, that's it, man. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I appreciate any support you give the channel. Subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think, and check me out on Twitter.